Hey everybody, my name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. I wanted to thank you for listening to this episode of The Morning Show. I'm the creator, the producer, and the host of the show. We want you to check out our website. It's themorningshowwithnatalie.com. You can go to that website. You can see all about our sponsors, all about the show. You can even listen to live episodes while they're going on right there from the website. Another way to listen to the show live is go to Live 365. You can download that app and just search for The Morning Show. It's right there. Super easy. We want you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you will. That way you can keep up with what's going on the morning show. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
My name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. You are listening to The Morning Show. It's Throwback Thursday, and we are celebrating today. We're throwing it back to a particular album released back in 2002. Now, that's over 20 years ago. It's an album that had a strong impact and influence in my life. I've never really gotten over it, actually. I still think it's one of the greatest Southern gospel albums that I've ever had. And I mean that. The album was called The Return, and the group was the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet. Now, they don't sing anymore, but they had a good, strong run for many, many years. And in my book, they were one of the greatest male quartets that I ever experienced. Here to help us celebrate and to reminisce is one of the founding members of that group. He sang a tenor with them for, over 5 years. He wrote many of their songs, and he probably kept things running most of the time, I would imagine. Singer, songwriter, producer, all-around great musician, Mr. Robbie Hiner. Welcome to the morning, sir, Robbie.
Well, thank you so much, and I do appreciate all the kind words you said about the group. And
I meant every word of that.
Well, I am thankful that the album blessed your heart. We were very fortunate in the time that God allowed us to do what we did, and it's just great to know someone remembers it.
Yeah, I've never forgotten it. I'm not sure I ever got over it. The group and the CD had that kind of impact on me. I'd like to start out by talking about the group itself. There's so much rich history in the group, the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet. And today I'm going to focus on that original lineup, strictly because the album that we're focusing on today had the original lineup. Now, there was the lead singer Wyatt Wilson, baritone Jeff Stanley, bass Christian Davis, and you sealed the deal on the tenor, Robbie Hiner.
Well, yeah, the original group, we Dr. Falwell, I was the head of the music department at the Old Time Gospel Hour and produced the music for the broadcast. And Jerry, Dr. Falwell, wanted Southern Gospel represented on the platform. And so he said, Robbie, put together a Southern Gospel quartet. Well, what I did, I picked Christian Davis, the bass singer, was a freshman at Liberty University, and Wyatt sang, around in a trio, and Jeff Stanley sang with him. And so I put together the group with local singers here in the Lynchburg area. And the first album we did was The Lamb is King, which was a big album that Larry Goss arranged for us, and Jerry put it on TV, of course, and we sang on the broadcast. Well, that gave us national exposure right off the bat. And then the Southern Gospel industry, the first year we were together, put us on the main stage at the convention. And a lot of it was because of the exposure we'd received, and we were selling a lot of records at that time. And but we spent a lot of time in the studio, together, because we, other than myself, who had traveled and sang with Dr. Falwell for all those years, none of them had been exposed nationally. And so all of a sudden, God was really good, and he blessed us, and we had a record that did great, and we got signed by Daywind. And so we did two albums with the original group, The Return and The Lamb is King. And The Lamb is King is what launched us.
Oh, yeah. And look, when you're on Daywind, they only do the elite. I mean, when you're on a Daywind label, that says so much in itself. Daywind.
Well, we were excited about it, and of course, Ed Leonard is a good friend, and Wayne Hahn was involved in the Return album, and we wanted to make that album more of a Southern gospel. The Lamb is King was a big ballad type record. It was huge for television, but we wanted something really kind of leaning a little bit more Southern gospel, and that's when Daywind signed us and gave us a lot of control of the record. It went very well.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say so. I'd say so. Hey, I mean it when I say this, Robbie. You guys, that original lineup of the group was one of the strongest male quartets I've ever heard. Killer vocals. Every single one of you were master vocalists. And the blend was as smooth as butter. You knew when to be delicate, and you knew when to be intense, and you were geniuses when it came to picking songs.
Yeah, we were very lucky with the tunes on the return. What was so cool about it, I got to write as many songs as I wanted to, but we found some great songs. On My Journey Home was written by Bill Burns, and it was such a cool step back into the old Southern gospel days that we knew we wanted to record it. And but it was a challenge for us because there were so many moving parts in it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a challenge for anybody to sing that. You know what my choir is singing at Salem Baptist Church in Lake Mississippi this Sunday?
Well, what are y'all singing? What's the choir singing?
On My Journey Home.
Really?
We are.
That's incredible. And a lot of the big fancy choirs probably couldn't do that song. I mean,
it's all we can do to do it, Robbie.
Yeah, it's tough. It is really a tough song.
I'll be honest with you. We've got a little tuner that'll take it down about a half a step, and when it does that, it slows it down just a little.
Uh-huh.
And it
gets pretty high. I'd love to be there Sunday and sit in the back and just listen to y'all do it.
Well, that would make us awful nervous. That'd make us
No.
Look, I want to play this. I want to play the song, and let's just reminisce and have a good time listening to the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet. This was the first song I ever knew that the group sang. I missed the whole first album. I missed all of that. This is where I was introduced to you guys. I can still sing every word of it in my sleep. I may run out of breath doing it, but I do know the words. Let's play it.
All right.
Here's the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet.
I want to be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day. I want to tell of his love wherever I go. He's a friend of mine and I love him so. Though the journey's hard, still I go on my journey home.
When it's been a long old journey, sometimes my steps are slow. I've been a long time traveling, but I'm not discouraged though, 'cause I'm on my way to glory land, in the right direction I know. I've got a long way to go, but I'm happy on my journey home.
I want to be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day. I want to tell of his love wherever I go. He's a friend of mine and I love him so. Though the journey's hard, still I'll go on my journey home.
Now before you start your journey, make sure your flag's unfurled. Be ready to meet the Savior before you leave this world. No excuses are accepted when you stand before God's throne. You better fall on your knees in confession on your journey home.
I want to be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day. I want to tell of his love wherever I go. He's a friend of mine and I love him so. Though the journey's hard, still I go on my journey home. I want to be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day.
I want to
Be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day. I want to tell of his love wherever I go. He's a friend of mine and I love him so. Though the journey's hard, still I'll go on my journey home. I want to be a little more like Jesus every day. I want to make a lot of progress on the King's Highway. I want to say a little, give a little, pray a little, live a little more like Jesus every day. I want to tell of his love wherever I go. He's a friend of mine and I love him soul, though the journey's hard. Still I'm going on my journey home.
We still play that on the show, quite often. I mean, that song will never die here in Mississippi.
Well, I'm glad to know that. We just, every member of the group has moved on. Christian, after we finished this record, felt the call to go into a solo career, and Wyatt ended up eventually going to work with Liberty University. Jeff has a lovely wife and is doing fine, and I still produce the music in the studio just about every day, and every now and then I get to run to Nashville and work there. So God's been really good. I made the decision later on in the life of the quartet to quit the traveling and settle down into production, and then the group went a different way. And so I talked to Wyatt today. He's all excited about getting you doing the interview, and I talked to Christian a few weeks ago. He's in Nashville, and we'll hook up the next time I'm there. So the group is still really tight. I've talked to him about doing a reunion type concert somewhere, but everybody's got their own lives, and Christian's got children now, and it's tough to pull everybody back together.
Well, we hadn't forgotten about you, that's for sure, and we are celebrating the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet today here on the morning show. I'd like to focus on that album, The Return. Let's talk about that. I remember exactly when it was and where I was when I got this CD, and the first time that I met you guys. Now, you and I have never officially met, but I've met all of the other guys in that original quartet. I don't know how I missed you, Robbie, but you and I have never met.
Well, I looked you up on Facebook just to see who you were. And, so it's funny how things work out. I don't know how I missed you or where I was, or maybe I'd already settled down in Nashville. I don't know.
I don't know. But when I met the other ones, it was the National Quartet Convention, Louisville, Kentucky, 2002. This CD had just been released. I think it came out in August, and the Quartet Convention was in September. And I came by the booth, the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet's booth, because I wanted to meet Christian Davis. He was a young, happening bass singer, and he was what everybody was talking about that year. Christian Davis. And I just wanted to see what the hype was about. I said, well, I'm going to meet this young bass singer that everybody's talking about. When I went to the booth, he was not there at the time, but I met Wyatt Wilson. And I sat down and talked to Wyatt. And, Robbie, what I remember about him was that he was extremely kind and personal. Right. And we just connected. We just sat there and talked. And after the conversation, he stood up and he went to the table and he got that CD and he brought it back to me and he said, now take that home, listen to it, see what you think. And that CD became all I listened to for weeks. It just became engraved in who I was. I mean, it meant that much to me. What was it like to be a part of that, Robbie? Well,
I think the thing that was cool about Christian is that he was a student at Liberty, and I don't think Christian really wanted to go to college. And when Jerry had mentioned putting together the quartet, I started looking for someone, in the university that might be interested. I ran into Christian. I heard him sing, and I said, he's spot on. He's got that low voice, but he's still got that edge to where his voice will cut through. And so I talked to him, and he said, I really, really would like to do this. And I said, well, if I can get you a scholarship from Dr. Falwell, now you're going to be gone a lot, which means you're going to be making TV appearances, and we're going to be gone a lot. You'll have to focus on school. He said, I can do that. And Jerry gave him the scholarship. And he was young, but he could do things vocally that most guys his age and his size, because he wasn't a real big, robust guy, couldn't do. And that's what made him unique. When he stepped out to sing, people just couldn't believe the voice that was coming out of him. So it was incredible.
They were blown away. People were blown away. I'll say this. People cannot get bored listening to this CD. Each song was a little bit different. It was very fun to listen to it. And I remember when it came along, I remember thinking, this is different. It was just different than anything else I had heard in Southern Gospel before. You just had your own style. And killer tracks. I don't know who made those soundtracks, but they were just phenomenal.
I produced the rhythm tracks, and then we got Wayne Hahn to help orchestrate them, and then I arranged the vocals. And so we knew what each person could do and what their strong point was, and that's where we kept the vocals. And that's why the album sounds good, is because everyone was in their comfort zone and doing what they knew how to do. And when they came out of that comfort zone, when we were in the studio, we rearranged some of the stuff and made sure everyone knew their part and felt comfortable on the platform. Nothing's worse than being up singing and going, oh no, here comes a high note.
Yeah.
In your brain, you're going, oh, I hope I hit
You're
it.
nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, you're nervous.
Yeah. So the record was a lot of fun for us.
Be an outstanding producer.
I love to work, and I love producing. And when you're producing for a major label, you work extra hard to make sure it's right. And every album we did was important to us because we knew Jerry was going to put it on television. We knew that people would hear us, and so we had a challenge in front of us. And I made them practice. I'd say, now, guys, you've never been on TV, so what I want you to do is make sure you look at the people. Don't stand up there and shut your eyes like a lot of singers do. Look at the people, smile at the people, and know your part.
Yeah.
Because, and so we worked hard in rehearsals, and I said, I don't want showmanship. I just want you to stand there and sing and be who you are. And that's why Wyatt came across gentle, because Wyatt is a very gentle soul. Christian, well, he'd show off a little bit because he knew he could do that. And Jeff, he just Jeff, and when it came to hit high notes, you just rear back and hit them, So those were good days. After about 5 years, I got tired of riding the bus and running around because I was getting old, and and so that's when I settled down in Nashville.
Robbie, that lies hard on a young person. That traveling and all that's tough on everybody.
Oh, it is. Well, I don't know how old you are, and I wouldn't ask you because you're a lady, but I'm old
44.
as dirt, so I'm
44.
70.
Well,
and I can still sing the notes. I can still do all that stuff. I just don't have the itch to go like I used to. Yeah. And plus I've got grandkids now, and running on the highway, you pay a toll for that. So I'm thankful that part of my life worked. I'm thankful the quartet worked, and everybody in the quartet has settled into a new life. But God was good, and he during that period, we had a ball. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed going out and meeting people, and it was a fun time. But after about 5 years, I reached the point where I said, we need to find a good tenor for this group, and because I wanted to go more into the studio production end of it. So, so we worked it out.
I want to play one that Robbie wrote on the album. It was one of my favorite songs called Jesus, Jesus. And it does show off Christian Davis's bass skills just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I remember recording this, and I said, I hope it's in the right key. And he just went down and grabbed the notes. It was incredible.
It was incredible. All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and have one more segment with Robbie Hiner of previously of the Old Time Gospel Hour Quartet. Here's one that he wrote called Jesus, Jesus.
Closer than a brother, pick me up
from the miry clay.
Came to earth, left his heavenly glory and his blood
washed my sin away.
Why he would love me, I can't understand. Why he would save me, I can explain. But he did, and I know without a doubt there's power in the mention of his wonderful name. Jesus, Jesus, powerful and holy friend of the sinner and the undone. How I love the precious name of Jesus, blessed Redeemer, God's only Son. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, watching over me from his heavenly throne. He picks me up
with his mighty hand.
And when life isn't worth the living,
I think about my home in the promised land.
Sweet, sweet peace and a calm assurance, knowing he is with me every step of the way. Joy divine, yes, there will come a time the heavenly host will join me and say, Jesus, Jesus, powerful and holy friend of the sinner and the undone. How I love the precious name of Jesus, blessed Redeemer, God's only Son. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, blessed Redeemer, God's only Son. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, watching over me from his heavenly throne. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, watching over me from his heavenly throne. Jesus, Jesus, powerful and holy, friend of the sinner and the undone. How I love the precious name of Jesus, blessed Redeemer, God's only Son. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, watching over me from his heavenly throne. Never been a love like the love of Jesus, sweeter than the honey coming out of the comb. Jesus, Jesus, my Redeemer, watching over me from his heavenly throne. Watching over me from his heavenly throne. Jesus.
Robbie, that right there is why I say you're phenomenal. Ooh, what a song. Still got it.
It's a lot of words.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, I got to write 3 songs on the record. I did the Jesus, Jesus, His Love, and a song called Blessed Land of No Tomorrows, which I got to sing on. So, and that was a lot of fun. The experience of recording for Day Win was fun for us because it we knew who recorded for them. It kind of put us in a situation where we were able to hobnob with some of the greats in Southern gospel, and we were just from Lynchburg and sang on Jerry Falwell's show,
Well, that's a big deal in and of itself, but it is a big deal for Day Win. Hey, Robbie, what about the song He Is Always There? Didn't you write that one too?
Yeah, I wrote that too. And
that's 4. You did 4 on that.
Yeah, that's a fun song. I sometimes I forget. In fact, when I pulled the record out and listened to it, I forgot how, because you had mentioned certain songs that you really liked, and on my journey home, I had forgotten how hard that was.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, man, that was something. But
you
no,
with a distinct style, and I like it.
Well, it was different, maybe because we had to be careful with Southern gospel on a national platform that you presented it really, really good. It wasn't hokey. It wasn't. A lot of people think Southern gospel is redneck or some of that. We never felt that way. We just felt like it needed to be presented properly so that people fall in love with it.
Oh, you did it classy. I wanted to point out just a few of the other writers on the album. Gerald Crabb wrote the title track, The Return. Wayne Hahn, Joel Lindsay, Rodney Griffith, Gina Vera. Jerry Salley. I have to mention Jerry Salley. He's a writer on here too. So
and John Starnes. Yeah. John Starnes was a great.
Oh, hi, John.
Yeah. He wrote with Rodney. And
he's not listed on here. What I'm looking at. So
yeah,
no
he's listed on my
good song.
Yeah, Day Win helped put out the word, that we were looking for songs, and they pitched songs to us, and then I was able to throw some songs in the pot and hope they chose some of them, and they did. So, but when Day Win signed us, we knew that we still had some control. But Day Win put up the capital to do the record, believed in us, and we took their advice and used the songs they selected.
Robbie, on a personal note, when we list all of these outstanding writers on this album, your songs are every bit as good as any of theirs. I put yours at the top of the list on this album, and I'm interviewing you. I mean that.
You're very kind, and I never got to meet you. That was the year that they selected a few of us to record some songs on a CD in a different part of the building. I'm wondering if that's where Christian and I were.
Probably so. Neither one of you were there.
Yeah, that could have been the reason. Or sometimes we left individuals in the booth and we walked around and talked to other people, so that could have been it as well.
So, Robbie, I did get to meet Christian the next night. I did get to spend some time with him, but I never connected with you. But, there's still time. I still might get to meet you down the road somewhere. Who knows?
I sure appreciate you letting me be on the program, and just let folks know we appreciate the good comments that you made about the record, for sure.
Well, been special to me because the album is special, the group was special, and I've enjoyed reminiscing. Robbie, I know you're awful busy, and it means a lot that you took the time to come be on the morning show. I appreciate that.
Well, this is the last thing on the agenda today, and when I leave here, I'm going to pick up my son and my twin grandsons. We're going to a basketball game and eat hot dogs, so it's going to be a great day.
Have fun, Robbie. Hey, you've got a friend here on the morning show. Don't forget that.
Hey, thank you, and to everybody listening, God bless y'all.
Thanks, Robbie. We'll do it again sometime, okay?
You betcha. All right, bye-bye.
I met a man the other day, and this is what he had to say. I don't believe there is a God above. He said it's hard for me to see how anybody could believe that sin is washed away by Jesus' blood. I must admit it took me a few moments to figure out exactly what to say. I heard a voice say, tell him how a Savior died, how his love can change his life today. His love is big. His love is deep. Deeper than the ocean rolling deep and wide. His love is wide. So much wider than the east is from the west. A love majestic, true and wonderful. God gave his very best. His love is mercy. Compassion and forgiveness, full and free. His love is timeless. Lives on and on through all eternity. His love is priceless. Gold and silver could not pay. His love is truth. Truth is he's coming back someday. Now I'm sure, and there's no doubt, the love of God can pull you out of sin and change your life in every way. It makes a person feel brand new with Jesus' love inside of you. Accept this love of Jesus Christ today. The moment you accept the love of Jesus, the heavy chains of sin are sure to leave. His promises are true. He makes the old man new, and all he asks of you is to believe. His love is big. Bigger than the mountain reaching to the sky. His love is deep. Deeper than the ocean rolling deep and wide. His love is wide. So much wider than the east is from the west. A love majestic, true and wonderful. God gave his very best. His love is mercy. Compassion and forgiveness, full and free. His love is timeless. Lives on and on through all eternity. His love is priceless. A ransom gold and silver could not pay. His love is truth. Truth is he's coming back someday. Sing about the grand old story, how he left his home in glory. Sing me a song about his love. Sing about his mighty power, he could come at any hour. Sing me a song about his love. His love is big. Bigger than the mountain reaching to the sky. His love is deep. Deeper than the ocean rolling deep and wide. His love is wide. So much wider than the east is from the west. A love majestic, true and wonderful. God gave his very best. His love is mercy. Compassion and forgiveness, full and free. His love is timeless. Lives on and on through all eternity. His love is priceless. A ransom gold and silver could not pay. His love is truth. Truth is he's coming back someday.